Dave Anderson here with the Fisherman magazine. It's December 1st, if you can believe it. And these are your headlines. First up, we're still hearing about lots of big tog in Rhode Island. We've got a 15 and a 17 in this week's video. Still some wreck-sized tuna out on Stellwagen Bank. That's going to continue right into December. And there's freshwater reports flooding in from all over the region. Stay tuned for all that and more on this week's New England Fishing Forecast.
The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
So before we get into the fishing reports, I got a couple news items for you. The first one, something that's kind of near and dear to me, and that is, it's December 1st, and we're in the holiday season now, and most of us watching this video are going to have an angler or two to shop for, and I know it's easy to go online and just, order what they want from, Idaho or Oregon or something like that. But I want to remind you guys that a lot of the tackle shops are staying open through the holiday season with the hopes of, that last opportunity to make a good amount of money before the lean months come through. I've worked in tackle shops and I know that January and February are slow, especially on the weekdays out there. And they're kind of staying open as a favor to you. So do them a favor, and instead of going online and, placing your order with some guy you've never met before and that you're never going to see in your life, head to your local tackle shop and make your purchases there. You're going to be keeping your money local. You're going to be keeping those shops happy. You're going to be repaying them sort of for staying open through the winter time so you can head out there and get what you need or go talk fishing with someone when you really get the shack nasties. And that's just it. I just want to remind you guys, a lot of these shops are staying open. A lot of them are going to have special hours through the holidays. They're going to have gift certificates. And, just reminding you guys to take advantage of that. The other one, of course, is the giveaway, which is going on until December 22nd. We're giving away a bunker-colored Goo Goo Man pikey. And we're also going to be giving away a hydro twitch bait from Missouri in the mackerel color. And of course, most of you guys at least have heard this a few times, if not a million times, but it's a very simple contest. You're going to send the photos in to me. They have to be recent and they got to show you. Send them in to me at danderson@thefisherman.com or text them to the number on the screen. And on or about December 22nd, I'm going to look through all these photos. I'm going to pick my favorite. And we're going to send somebody a little holiday gift package to start the holidays off on the right foot. So get those in to me, and we'll see who wins. Hey guys, one more thing. Just in time for the holiday season, we want to announce that the Fisherman magazine has launched their apparel store. We have hats, sweatshirts, hoodies, t-shirts, and they're all online now with free shipping on orders over $100. It's a perfect gift for the fisherman in your life. Visit thefisherman.com/shop or click on the card in the upper right. Be sure to order before December 12th to have it in time for Christmas. So now let's start things off in Massachusetts. Like we always do, we're going to head up to the North Shore, and I talked to James. He didn't get out this week, so he didn't shoot us a video, but he said, he's pretty much ready to declare the patient dead at this point. There's no saltwater action going on Plum Island anymore. The stripers have all headed south. They're out of there. But that doesn't mean there's nothing to do up there. The Merrimack River holds a lot of different angling opportunities, and two of them that are going on right now are pike fishing, like this 39-incher taken by Jacob Rushing. I don't know for sure that it was taken in the Merrimack River. Probably a good bet that it was. It was caught on a large shiner, and that's a great fish. Also hearing about a lot of carp fishing going on in the Merrimack River. I got into carp fishing this year thanks to field correspondent Rowan, Lytle, and man, I gotta say, it's a very different and very satisfying fishery. Also can be frustrating. So that's something you can take advantage of up there. And the Merrimack holds all kinds of other opportunities from freshwater and saltwater species, so you can check that out. Also, any of the ponds up there that have bass in them are ripe for jerkbait fishing right now. And it's a great time of year to get a really big bass on a jerkbait, so you can try that out. And then, of course, there are many ponds throughout Massachusetts that have been stocked with trout, and any one of the ones up in that region are definitely going to be producing fish. Some of the ones that get the most press at this time of the year, though, are down in Plymouth on the South Shore. Three in particular. You got Long Pond and Little Pond, which are both in Plymouth, and you got Mary's Pond in Rochester. These ponds all get huge doses of trout every fall. They're productive all through the winter. They also have great populations of bass in them, and some of them have some big pickerel as well. So a lot of opportunity to catch some fish in those ponds. Some of the best in Massachusetts, if you ask me. I fished them all. And so that's one opportunity that you have. Heading out onto the Cape, we are hearing about a little bit of saltwater action. Like I said in the intro, you've got tuna out on Stellwagen. If we get a calm day, you can get out there and still catch those. That's going to continue at least into the first couple weeks of the month here. Also, the pollock and haddock fishing north of the Cape is still ongoing. Those fish are out in some deep water. Best bet is to hop on a party boat there. And you got party boats leaving Gloucester. You got party boats leaving Green Harbor. Probably some out of Boston. Probably some out of the Cape. So you got lots of opportunity to get out on that. Freshwater wise on the Cape, hearing about a lot of smallmouth bass activity this week. Several ponds out there hold great smallie fishing. Guys are getting them on Ned rigs, jigs, blade baits, and jerk baits. Probably the most popular and most productive pond on the Cape is Mashpee Wakeby, so that's definitely a place that you can check out. Not hearing a lot of saltwater reports from really anywhere throughout, even Buzzards Bay at this point. There's definitely still some tog to be caught, and there are still some striped bass in the canal. This might be the year when you could get a December striper in the canal. Those years are few and far between, but I got a feeling if you put your time in these next few days, you got an opportunity to get one. And last up in Massachusetts, we're going to head inland now and hear some freshwater reports from Mr. Roy Leyve.
Hey Dave, Roy Leyve here with this week's fishing report from Western Mass. This one's from indoors. I feel like I'm locked up today. I had a few things to do, but I did get out quite a bit last week and earlier this week. Got to fish Wachusett Reservoir a couple times before it closed yesterday, November 30th. The reservoir will maintain closed now until the first Saturday of April, I believe, depending on ice conditions. Now, speaking of ice conditions, we don't have any safe ice out here yet, but we do have some lakes that lock up in the morning, sometimes open up, in the afternoon. Some of them, these smaller bodies of water. But there's still quite a bit of fishery to be had out here. One of those things is targeting trout. If you can get out into open water or any of the rivers or streams that are stocked with trout, great resource for this time of the year, whether you want to target them on fly or artificials. We did get a lot of rain yesterday, which should seep through by the weekend, making conditions perfect for trout come this weekend. The other thing that I like to target out this time of year is obviously largemouth and pickerel as well. My favorite technique for that obviously is the jerk bait, as I spoke about it a couple weeks ago. That continues to be a very strong technique this time of the year, throwing a jerk bait. Suspending jerk bait, you just want to play with the paws. The cadence to actually working that bait, really quick, fast twitches, keeping that line tight as you go, but you want to play with that pause. That pause, you might count to 5, count to 10, 15. I've had to pause sometimes as long as a minute before you actually get a hit. So just remember that. It's not so much how much you work it, it's that pause that's going to initiate that hit. So other than that, I know the Connecticut River has done really well for guys on boats. If you find some of those deeper holes, walleye, channel cats, as well as smallmouth. So there you go. There you have it. I don't know. I probably am going to step away from these reports for a couple weeks while things don't change too much. But if we get any safe ice or anything comes about, I will be ready to report to you, Dave. All right, readers, have a good one, and thanks for watching.
In Rhode Island, the tog fishing just won't quit. We're hearing about more big fish, and it just isn't slowing down. It's amazing. Water temps are still pretty warm. Guys I was talking to said they saw 56 degrees this week out off of Watch Hill, so that's warm. Out more toward Newport, it's a little lower, 51, 53, but still, those are warm water temperatures for the 1st of December. So there's no reason to think that the tog fishing is going to shut right off. We got this system coming through, which is going to shake things up a little bit, probably going to lower the water temps a little bit, but I do think that the fishery will hang on, and it's not confined to one area either. I mean, I heard about a 15-pounder that was taken out by Block Island, and of course there was a 17-pounder that was taken, I think, off of Beavertail. So those are big fish. Those are monster fish, and that shows sort of the range of where all this is happening, but we're hearing about fish from Newport, Beavertail, Narragansett, Watch Hill, and Block Island. So there's opportunity really no matter where you go. You just got to find that deep structure. Another thing that's interesting is we're seeing a lot of herring this year. A lot of sea herring are in. They're bringing in some bass with them, but it's been mostly smaller bass since before Thanksgiving. So, topping out at 30 inches, but most of these fish are like 20 to 26 inch fish. But there's also a lot more codfish inshore. It's been a plus year for codfish so far, and these herring may have something to do with that. Herd of cod to 30 inches taken between Watch Hill and Newport this week, and a whole lot more of them out by Block Island. And there's a lot of sea bass out by Block, and still getting a few inshore as well. Let's toss it over now to John Lee from JL Charters. I know he's been in on all these fisheries. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Hey Dave, John Lee, JL Charters, Point Judith, Rhode Island. We got out a couple of times this week and had a decent mixed bag of codfish, blackfish, and sea bass. We went out, we anchored up, we used crabs. Some guys used jigs and clams. It was pretty good fishing. Once again, we got a lot of weather. I probably won't get out till Monday. It's definitely starting to feel like kind of more of a cod thing for us, and we're just going to keep going. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
So most of those striped bass are being caught from the surf at this point. Not many boats in the water right now, and it seems like the ones that are togging. And most of these fish are coming from the breachways. A lot of bait along the South Shore beaches right now still, and good numbers of bass being taken mostly on lures. And again, they're topping out 30 inches, but really most of these fish are 26 inches and under. But still great to be able to get those fish in December. That's not something that we can do every year. And last up in Rhode Island is those Sebago salmon that they stocked back on Veterans Day. They're still out there. They're still being caught. They're still eager to bite. And you can check the DEM website for the list of, I think it was 7 ponds that were stocked. But the bite's been good, and you can catch them on a variety of lures, and they're definitely favoring lures. Over in Connecticut, if the tog season hadn't closed on Monday, on the 28th, that's what we'd be talking about right now, because that was still very good. A lot of long faces on the bottom fishing fleet in Connecticut right now, but that's, the laws are the laws. So instead, we're hearing a lot more about freshwater fishing this week. One thing I heard, a little uptick in activity, was at the Connecticut River. Seems like more guys are hooking up over there. Good salmon run this year. Well, not run, but good stocking of salmon. And a lot of guys are hooking up on those. At the same time, we're hearing about great trout fishing from places like the Salmon River and Farmington River and Chatfield Hollow. In addition to those, any one of these ponds that you can find on the deep list that were stocked in the fall are going to have fish. They're going to be putting out good numbers. And, Connecticut has a great stocking program and really great fishery in the wintertime. It's definitely something that you should be taking advantage of right now. Most of the saltwater guys are now shifting their focus to holdover striped bass. These fish are moving up into the rivers. They're moving up into the Thames. They're moving up into the Connecticut River, and they're moving up into the wintertime crown jewel of Connecticut, the Housatonic River. And, a lot of these fish are going to be smaller, especially if you're fishing in the daytime. Paddletail shads are going to get bit. You're going to probably find good numbers if you can get on a pile of fish. If you head out at night, though, you got a much better shot at getting a bigger fish. And you can get a solid fish. You can have a really good shot at getting a 20-plus pound fish, and is a realistic chance of even getting like a big fish, 30-plus pound fish. They are in these rivers, and they are caught every year, mostly at night, and mostly by guys that are targeting them with bigger baits. So that's one option for the saltwater guy. There are also guys fishing the, what I call the actual surf out front. And most of these guys are, surprise, surprise, fishing around the mouths of these rivers as these fish continue to funnel in. You've got great opportunities to catch these fish outside the rivers, and there's still a ton of bait around. And there's really no limit to the size of fish you can catch out there. There's still some nice fish around, and it's, the guys that are going to catch them are the guys that are going to spend the time looking for them. And now we're just going to run through our field correspondence. We're going to toss it over now first to Captain Mike Roy from Real Cash Charters to get a little rundown of what's going on in the Connecticut River region.
Well, it's me again. I misunderstood Mike when we were talking about whether he was going to do a video this week. I thought he was going to do one more, but basically he told me that they wrapped up their season this week, and still we're seeing some stripers moving into the river. And, they're kind of heading up into some of their holdover coves now. And but again, they're wrapping up their season. He just wanted to make sure that, everyone that watches the video and all of his customers got a big thank you from him for another successful season. And I also wanted to wish everyone happy holidays and a happy new year.
And then we'll wrap up the Sound area news with Max Finch from Fisherman's World.
Hey everyone, Max here from Fisherman's World with another local fishing report. There's still striped bass running our beaches and in our deeper water reefs. The diamond jig bite has been hit or miss, but when you get into it, it's hot and heavy. We've seen a lot of slot-sized fish, but for the most part, there are a lot of schoolies running our beaches and still in our estuaries. The mouth of the Housatonic is holding a lot of fish and, the lower part of the river, and now there's fish starting to move upriver too. Guys are fishing soft plastics on lead heads, they're fishing SPs, top water still in the morning. As we progress more into, December, it's going to be more of a jig bite, fishing a lead head with your favorite soft plastic on the bottom. The black sea bass bite is still pretty good. The guys that are still getting out on our 50-foot wrecks and shallower wrecks, they're reporting a good bite. And I know Middle Ground holds a lot of big sea bass this time of year. So you can use clams, squid, high-low rigs, butterfly jigs, diamond jigs, and your favorite type of jig. And there's been a pretty good striped bass bite too at 11B and Middle Ground. All right, everybody, thanks and good luck.
And then last up, as we always do, we're going to toss it over now to Mr. Rowan Lytle. We get a little rundown on some of the lesser utilized fisheries that we have here in Connecticut.
Hey everybody, we're seeing a decent influx of rain now, this middle of this week, and then again this weekend. That might improve things for us on the trout and salmon front. I'm going to be getting out this weekend with some clients for broodstock salmon in Connecticut. Now, that fishing's remained pretty consistent. There's definitely been some slow periods, especially with the low water and some of the brighter sunny days. But I expect things to improve in that regard. And with ice staying off most of the ponds, there's plenty of good casting options to be had for trout and salmon throughout Rhode Island and Connecticut right now. It's going to be kind of wet again this weekend, but get out there after it. Fish are already wet anyway. Enjoy the last little bit of warm weather we're going to have here, everyone.
And that's what I have for you guys in the reports this week. I know it's December, but there's still a lot of opportunity out there for you guys. No reason to hang up the rods. And I want to encourage you again to get those photos into me. You got a chance to win something cool. So send them in to me at danderson@thefisherman.com or text them to me. And we'll get those, we'll get you in the magazine at the very least. And hopefully you'll catch the winner of the month. If you're not a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine, I highly recommend heading over to the website. That's thefisherman.com. We've got enough free content on there for you to kind of get a flavor of what we offer. Cover everything from Delaware all the way up to Maine, all saltwater and freshwater fisheries in between, plus travel pieces, plus kayak, plus stand-up paddleboard, plus surf, plus freshwater, plus everything else you can think of. It's the best $30 you can spend in fishing, and it makes a great holiday gift. So check us out, and we'll see you next week.